Hey, metaphysical, spiritual, and otherwise awesome community. Um, let's talk about resistance now. Obviously, there's quite a bit of good information on this topic out these days, but I need to do this video today because today I got hit with some pretty good resistance. Okay? Now, in and of itself, there's nothing that special about that, but thought I'd share my current understanding and how it's grown from in the past. Because here's the thing, and I'm betting some of you are in this boat too, or were in this boat, like I was. In the past, when I'd be doing something that, looking back now, I can say I had a genuine passion for, and it was a calling of mine, and life would start hitting me with all sorts of resistance. Not having the knowledge I know now, not having any understanding of this or any useful information about it, and being in the kind of the loop of mistakes I was in from several lives in a row, my response would be that when I'd get all this resistance, I would feel personally insulted by a higher power. Sort of like, fine, if you're going to trash and put every obstacle you can in the way of something I'm doing that I believe is worthy, let me go ahead and just destroy it myself. And that's exactly what I would do. No matter how much passion, no matter how much energy, no matter how much love even I had put into something, I would destroy it myself. I would go nuclear and absolutely annihilate something that I love, something that I have built from my blood, sweat, and tears. So what's different now, though, is I have actual useful knowledge, and a lot of that's thanks to some of you in this metaphysical, spiritual community, if those are the right terms. You know what I mean. I now understand that when you do when you do create a vision, and you do feel a passion and a calling, and it is part of your real purpose, and you do set out to manifest what you've envisioned, resistance comes. Resistance comes, and the resistance is like the darkness to your light. It's everything you're not. It's everything you're not asking for. It's everything you're not trying to manifest, right? But it's actually a good sign in this world. It means that I am moving towards what I've set as the vision, right? So that's how I see it now. So now, even though I don't appreciate or like the resistance, and it's funny the places it comes from, so close to home sometimes, huh? From people you wouldn't even expect. You know what I mean? But that's a good thing. And here's another further bit of understanding I have. And this is like a percentage thing. I'm not saying that it's all me creating it or that it's all the other person, okay? In other words, in order to not be pointing fingers outside myself and placing blame and saying, oh, all the people around me, they don't get it and they're, trying to destroy this wonderful thing I'm doing. No. I recognize that a certain amount of this, and I don't know how much, I don't want to flatter myself and say all of it because that makes me feel like some kind of puppet master that's just controlling the people around me like it's all me and nobody else even matters. But some percentage of the resistance, even that I get from the people close to me, I can feel something in me, my own shadow or whatever you want to call it, creating that, pulling it out of the other person to challenge me. I can feel it happening now. Just to be at that level of awareness compared to where I used to be, priceless. Because I don't care how much resistance you bring at me. If I have understanding of what that means, I can easily deal with it. I can easily move through it. I can even be encouraged by it. That's not to say that I love every moment of it or that I'm in my right mind, or that's not to say that it doesn't even get me down. It does. My vibration gets lowered when someone close to me doesn't understand the vision I'm doing, and some of their issues and insecurities start interfering or whatever. That's not fun, and I'm not saying it feels good or that I laugh at it, but I know better now, okay? I know that this resistance is normal and natural, and it's part of the process. I don't understand exactly why the universe works the way it does, But having been given more of the laws of how things work and more understanding that I can apply, it's so infinitely valuable to me. My illusionary storylines of my ego were never any fun. They weren't. So for me to have real knowledge of how things work, so that I can actually work with the laws of, how this universe, this world actually does work, I am so thankful. I wish I would have had this many lifetimes ago, but no point wasting time wishing. It's here now, and I'm growing into it. And so for anybody out there dealing with resistance because you have come with, you've come up with some kind of authentic vision within you that's growing, that you're expanding upon, that is valuable, that makes you feel totally energized to pour, an unlimited supply into whatever that is, showing you're on the right path, or one of the many potential right paths for you. I don't even want to call it a path, because a path is too linear. It's more like an overall expansion. When you're expanding into a bigger, better vision for yourself, and you're getting all that resistance, hey, like I say, it doesn't necessarily feel good. And I think you guys know this, but for anybody who doesn't, it's actually a good sign. Don't take it personally, even when it comes from the people close to you. And it's more you doing it than you realize. And don't be scared of that. Be empowered by that. Realize that you're moving into something really powerful here, and that's why it's manipulating even the people close to you, so that you can find your own fear of the resistance through them. Because when I look inside myself, I see that fear of resistance. I see, my mind trying to plan, okay, what am I going to do when I meet this kind of resistance? What am I going to do about that kind of resistance? Like I'm already getting all defensive and ready and prepared and stuff. Well, it's not necessarily useful, but it's interesting to watch the mind doing that and realize what's going on. And realize I'm generating the experience of resistance to some degree myself. Now, are there other forces involved? Absolutely. Like I say, this is not some totally narcissistic, like it's just me and the rest of you are puppets that I control or whatever. Not at all. But there's definitely a certain amount of it being drawn out of people by me, so that I can have that, challenge or that experience of that resistance, and this time, for the first time in many lives, not be deceived by it. Now, isn't that priceless? So I knew I needed to share that because, hey, a lot of you are going through your own version of the same thing, and like I say, a lot of you know this a lot better than me. It's not that you need to hear it from me, but just by sharing, I think we build up each other's speed, maybe our rate of progress, like a snowball effect, by contributing some feeling to this issue, if nothing else. I believe it benefits some of you, just like hearing some of you sharing things like this benefits me. So there it is. So, and if you are dealing with a particularly tough form of resistance at this time that does have you down, I'm not saying you got to snap right out of it and feel better. I mean, feel better when you can, but just know that, boy, you must really be moving into something really great. Your expansion must be very big, and whatever's happening or whatever you're moving towards or manifesting within yourself or around yourself or whatever it is, it must be great, okay? It must be truly awesome, and that's why you're experiencing so much resistance, okay? So, hey, my heart's with you. Don't be disheartened. It's okay to be down for a while, but just don't buy into the illusion that you should give up or you're on the wrong track or any of that. Clearly, if you're getting a lot of resistance, it's because you're potentially about to, manifest something so great. That's what I really believe. So anyway, thank you to anyone who helped bring this information into the world so that we wouldn't have to blindly fall into the same traps life after life after life. Priceless. I thank you forever, you know what I mean? And it's just on my heart to contribute to helping someone else, to not be defeated by illusions, because that's what it is. So, love you all. Needed to share that. Thought it was really cool that instead of being frustrated right now and turning into a raging bull and basically just blowing up my whole life on my own before anybody else can do it to me, I'm truly different now. I'm truly different. I'm truly actually finally rapidly expanding into a better version of myself. So, and you know, we're in this together. So let's keep doing that and not fall for the illusion that anybody is your enemy. It's not that, you know. Nobody's your enemy. When the resistance comes through them, hey, it's got to come through somewhere. And if that's who's around you, then it's got to come through where it's got to come through, right? And it's a sign of our progress. That's the bulletin point here, right? All right. I love you. Hey, share some cool stories about that with me, if you will. All right? Anybody got some cool resistance stories and what you learned and you know, how you moved through it and what manifested from moving through it? Totally encouraging, awesome, you know, like, yeah, that's what movies should be made about, right? All right. Enough said. Thanks for listening and sharing.